So for those of you in the know, YouTube removed the dislike counter. For those of you who don't know, YouTube removed the dislike counter. Why is that wrong, you might think? I have some very strong opinions about this. As a person who pretty much grew up on YouTube tutorials, every single thing I ever did and ever thought about doing, I looked up through YouTube tutorials. And for the average user, some people might even think it's good and beneficial for your mental health that YouTube dislike counters are gone. I fucking disagree. I gotta be honest. Why does it suck, you might ask? If you look for a tutorial on a very specific thing, something that's easily infested by bots and stuff like that, you probably have experience with coming across the shittiest tutorials ever. Tutorials that will not even help you in any way or just advertise their own weird, scammy phishing services, right? The easiest way to see through those videos is looking at the dislikes. What is the first thing you look at? The first thing I personally look at is the view count, and then the like to dislike ratio and how many dislikes it has in general. Because now, with the dislike counter being removed, all you see is the likes. So you could see a very shitty video with a lot of views, and that shit would have like 500,000 likes. So you're looking at it and you're like, whoa, this shit's got a lot of likes. But for example, take YouTube Rewind or fucking Baby by Justin Bieber. Everybody hated it. All you see is a shit ton of likes on there. You can't see the dislikes. Or Friday by Rebecca Black. You don't see the dislikes anymore. So it doesn't really give a new person an understanding or a little bit of advice in a sense. People can analyze that shit and they're like, yeah, this could be a very shitty song. Then they listen to Rebecca Black and they hear the shittiest song of their life. And they see fucking 1 million likes, missing those 900 million dislikes on that song. That's essentially what's wrong with that. I think I remember something about YouTube saying something about the dislike counter being removed for mental health reasons and in case people want to attack other creators, which, just using that as an excuse, I mean, somewhat fair. I've been through my fair share of dislike spams for a while on my old account when I uploaded music on there. But honestly, I gotta say it straight up. As soon as you think about becoming a content creator and shit like that, you have to measure it out and weigh in that, some things may be hard. And removing the dislike counter is kind of a shitty move. Sure, people get obsessed with dislikes, but if you're a very young creator and you're going to grow up creating videos and not being able to deal and learning to cope with the fact that, not everyone may like your stuff, you're just going to become a very fucking sensitive little kid who cannot handle, or a sensitive grown up, an adult who can't handle that other people may not like what they put out. And that's how I personally feel about that. But coming back to the tutorials, how will we spot fake or useless tutorials without the dislikes? Sure, you can scroll through the comments, but that's too much already. Looking at the like to dislike ratio is like the easiest way to find out if you don't, if something's not useful. Sure, some people get spam dislike, get targeted for that stuff. But the people who benefit from the dislike counter outweigh the people who, don't get any advantages from that. It like outweighs it like crazy. What I saw is that Linus Tech Tips apparently had a talk with the CEO of YouTube about the dislike counter being removed. Asking for it to come back, and they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to hear him out about it, which kind of sucks. But it just shows you that they don't give a fuck about you. The corporations don't give a fuck about you. And I feel like this has a very weird hidden meaning or a hidden motive. As you probably know, I'm pretty sure of it as well, is that those bigger companies from the bigger corporations that make content pay YouTube a lot of money, and they don't want to show other people that some of their shows may fail or that some of their shows are just shitty, so they get a lot of dislikes, which is going to look bad on the corporations and on the companies and all that shit that worked on it. So what's the best way to deal with it? Don't show the dislikes. You know, like fucking Jimmy Fallon and all that bullshit. I feel like that's who gets the most benefit out of it. It will not benefit your average consumer, no pun intended to the YouTuber, your average consumer, or your average content creator. It will not benefit them at all. How will someone see that their video is failing, or that the videos they look up to, because you can still see your own dislikes, right? But how, when you're looking for inspiration and you're looking up to someone, how will it affect you, and how will it, what will it mean to you if all you see is the likes? You don't know how that video performs. Even though you're looking for inspiration, you want to pursue something in that same path, right? You want to be a funny dude, you want to make certain specific jokes, talk about certain subjects, want to build your whole channel on a niche, on a specific game. How will you know if those videos perform well from the outside looking in if you don't even have the fucking like to dislike ratio anymore? It just doesn't make sense to me. I hate it. And I'm glad Mr. Linus Tech Tips stood up for everyone, because like he's the OG. He's like the MVP out here. Why would they remove something as crucial as this? The fucking one of the co-founders of YouTube even stepped forward and fucking showed his displeasure about this situation, about them removing this feature, because he knows it's total fucking bogus that they removed it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would it make any sense? Why would someone have to take extra steps to find out that the tutorial they're watching is not worth it to watch? Or, find out through the comments that it's just a shitty quality video. Great example. There was this one guy who spoke up about R. Kelly. And at first, you may think, oh, he's going to say something. But his whole intro took like 3 minutes. It was a long ass video. It took 3 minutes for him to get to a certain point that he was talking about that R. Kelly is not a predator. He just got an appetite. I think that was like 5 or 6 minutes in. It's been a while since I watched that video, but it was like a while. It took a while to get to that point where you finally found out that what he was about to say was not a good thing to say. So if all you see in that video, that takes a long time to get to a certain point, to the tipping point, and you don't see the dislikes on that. You just see the likes. Some people may agree with him. All you see is a video with a low like counter. You don't see that it has a lot of dislikes. You have to dig through the comments to find people saying like, oh shit, you're a fucking predator. While you could have skipped that entirely, just look at how many dislikes it has. I'm pretty disappointed. I've loved the platform since I was a kid. I watched a lot of YouTube for a long ass time. I was pretty sad when they removed the video reply feature like years ago. I wasn't even making content. That's when I got inspired. That's when I really wanted to make content, honestly. I just never got to it. But the 5-star rating system, the video reply, shit like that. Sure, I understand that you may be able to remove those things, right? Wouldn't be weird, honestly. Some platforms grow with it. But removing the dislike counter is like such a radical change. It doesn't look radical. It doesn't sound radical. But it has very big consequences to your experience. So I hope all of you are letting it sink in, and that you guys don't underestimate the problem with it, because it's shitty. They just did a shitty job. They're not listening to to their whole community right here. Fucking Linus Tech Tips had to talk about it. And when they don't listen to him, who's gonna step up? We can have Keemstar, who's probably eating the clamshell of the CEO of YouTube, fucking crybaby crying about Ethan, while Mr. H3 himself is kind of a dickhead too. But hey, that's another story. But even Keemstar, he's just using his connection to the CEO in a very bad way. Let me just say this, right? If Keemstar was ever to fix the dislike counter problem, that they removed it and they're going to bring back the dislike counter just because of Keemstar, that's the only thing that will ever make me respect him. That's it. That's all I got to say. If he ever makes that happen just by himself, like no pushing and probing from other creators. If Keemstar uses his connection with the CEO that he uses to fucking cry and bitch about other people to get them, banned and suspended and shit. If he uses that power to give us back the dislike counter, then he has my respect. That was all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
Riding shotgun when I'm riding in the Benz truck. Now I'm still broke, can't wait till I go bands up. I sip so much more that I can bring myself to stand up. Count all these checks up, all my homies next up. We up to the top, yeah, Jeff Bezos, bitch.